Hello, everybody. Intuition here. Thank you so much for making some time and space for us in your busy lives and schedules. Today, we would like to discuss our interpretation of death and what happens after you die. We know that we've discussed before what death is and what we attribute and see death as. How we see death, to recap, is not so much you got into a car accident and died, or you died of cancer. It is more of a universal principality coming to retrieve their energy in which you overindulged on or over-identified with, that then therefore, when they retrieved their energy, you were unable to hold or remember what your energetic vibration was, what your universal principality is, and therefore, because you were unable to remember, when they when they deliver their death blow, you are unable to maintain your energetic vibration, your energetic universal principality, which is grounding you to the earth, which is grounding you to the vesicle, which is the physical body. So therefore, when you receive the death blow from whatever universal principality you have over-identified with or have taken too much of their energy, you die a physical death. However, again, you do not die. The universal principality never dies. It continues to live on, so to speak. However, just not with the container that is the body, which is mine. Because again, the universal principality will come and get their energy, but you are in my space. So therefore, all energy must be returned. So the energy in which you over-identified with gets returned to the universal principality, and the vesicle is representative, metaphoric, literally and figuratively, for my space, and therefore you need to have a space within my space to live in this place. So therefore, the vesicle goes back to me, and so therefore that it can be recycled into all that is in my space. However, again, that is you choosing to give your vesicle to me. I am not coming out to get it. It is only when you say, I am done with this, in the choice of you over-identifying, and we know it sounds a little rough to say it is a choice. However, anytime you overindulge and forget yourself, it is a choice. Maybe not a conscious choice, but nevertheless a choice in which you must be accountable for, as there is no other option, as you physically die and you become disembodied from the vesicle that was once holding your energy, your universal principality. So that gets collected by me and redistributed back into this place, so that when you return, when you reincarnate, as you say, that you have another vesicle to hop into. So that is our idea of death. We have done another video on what we see death as, and we encourage you to go and look at that if that was too vague and not descriptive for you. However, as we have already covered that, we will move on to what everybody else seems to be interested in, which is after you die, which we did not go into in our last video. We simply discussed what death is. So let us discuss what happens after you die. So first and foremost, we will say that everybody, all the 7 universal principalities have a different understanding and identification of what happens after you die. And based off of the lens in which they are, universal principality that they identify with, it is going to be different, so to speak, a little different from what it is that I, intuition, would experience, or resilience would experience, or wisdom would experience, or death would experience, or evolution would experience, or order and chaos would experience. So it is individualized in that way. So depending on if you believe in religion, which is one universal principality's understanding of all that is, or science, which is one universal principality's understanding of all that is, or spirituality, which is one universal principality's understanding of all that is, your experience will be similar to that in which you believe and identify with what it is that will happen. However, even though it is somewhat individualistic, there are still core qualities that still happen for all of us. So from what it is that we understand and what it is that we are in tune with and intuit with, there is no such thing really as the idea of heaven or hell. There is a limbotic essence to it, and that is life and death's quality. However, it is not necessarily, again, that there is a heaven or there is a hell. That is a lens quality. It is not so much that we've heard this idea of a universal counsel that comes and greets you, and a life process review. And we would like to disseminate more of what it is that we understand. Because all of these religions, sciences, not necessarily the sciences, they're more individualistic, but religions and spiritualities like to lend credit to anything else that is not you. They still like to say that, yes, you are a god, but you are also, there's something above you. And therefore, that something above you still has complete control over you, or a big say over what it is that happens when you die. And the idea of God consciousness, and the idea of a universal counsel telling you, shame on you when we're doing a life review, you should not have done this, and that is why this led to this, and that led to that. And we would like to remind you that, yes, there is God, the universal consciousness that is God, the universal principality that is God, which is that of curiosity. But God would never sit and say, shame on you, what have you done? You now go to hell because you ate meat on Sunday. God is infinitely curious. God does not have time, literally and figuratively, to sit and shame you. God is too curious to sit and shame you. If God were to sit and shame you, then that would mean that God knows better than you know, and that is silly, because God is infinitely curious, and God would never say that they know something more than you know. They would simply be curious in how you got to that understanding, and then therefore synthesize that information and add it to the all that is within the God force creation. But God, again, it is not God's place to interfere in that way, to say, shame on you, because that is a form of interference. If I am sending you to hell or any other place in space other than where it is that you choose and want to be, that is a sense of interference, and that interferes with the universal principality that is God and the infinite curiosity that God is. So God would never do something so silly like that. That is a third dimension understanding, or a universal principality's misremembrance of what it is that the essence of God energy is. So that is one thing. And then this idea of spirit, the spirituality and the universal counsel. It is not to say that there are universal principalities or their more evolutionized understandings of who it is that they are that are not guiding you. But to say that they are sitting there and throwing something in your face and holding your hand and showing you what you did and didn't do wrong is also silly, because that takes away your own accountability, and that takes away your own ability to synthesize what it is that you're seeing in a life review. And that is also a misremembrance of all that is and what it is that we understand happen in your space when it is that you are disembodied. So now that we've dissuaded those ideas, we are going to go into what it is that we see and understand happens. So when you are disembodied, when you are unable to go back to the vesicle that is holding you in this third density, a few things happen. We will briefly recap just so that you understand with regards to death. When you die and become disembodied, before you are disembodied, it is important to remember that you are a blend of the 7 universal principalities. And because you are a blend of the 7 universal principalities, that enables the universal principality that you are most identified with to have a separation so that you are able to understand yourself. So when you start going into maybe out of balance, into intellectualism or overindulgence, which is the universal principality of life and death, you're able to say, ooh, this is not me. I, the universal principality, I, the person that is Jojo, do not like to drink every day, or I do not like to eat a pint of ice cream every day. I know that because my energy feels completely different than wanting to overindulge in that way. Or my energy feels completely different from wanting to read books all day and then over intellectualizing and ruminating over an idea as opposed to experiencing it. So I am understanding through the blend of the different universal principalities that exist within me, exist within the physical body, that I am not these universal principalities, I am me. And when I step more into me, it is because I can understand a little bit from the lens of the other when I stepped out of my bounds and into the other universal principalities. So in a physical body, you are a blend of all these 7, right? And also you are then in identification with the overall universal principality that you are. But that all exists within the physical body. On top of the fact that you were always in divine concert with your significant other, the other universal principality that is your love, your coupling, your girlfriend, boyfriend, in the space in which we originally come from, because we are all divine pairs, and we choose our pairs depending on the universal principalities that we are. So you are always in concert with that universal principality that is your divine love, and usually they exist on your non-dominant side. So they are always half connected to you in body. But again, if you are not understanding in your physical body and remembering that your divine love is always connected to you on your divine non-dominant side, that you are a perfect blend of the seven, if you are not in awareness of that and you just think that you are all of those things, all of the seven universal principalities, and you are all of the body and not just encompassing half, then when you become disembodied, you really will lose your understanding and connection to all those things, because the body is encapsulating all of the seven. So when you become disembodied for the first time, since you were last disembodied, you are really truly alone in the sense of your universal principality. You do not have the balancing or counterbalancing of the other seven, so when you step out of your bounds to kind of rebound you back into yourself. Also, if you did not realize that your girlfriend, boyfriend, your divine significant other is attached to you in your non-dominant side, it is not as if when you are disembodied that they just disappear, but if you did not realize that they were attached to you physically in this body, then when you are disembodied, you surely won't realize that there is something else following you around, which is your divine love. Because again, your divine love, your coupling, your energy, because you guys have been intimate, not like sex, but similar, because you were intimate and your energy is so entangled, your energy is so similar that it is easy to mistaken your divine love's energy for your own energy. So you will just think that it is you as you are flowing through space, disembodied, and not even realize that it is your divine love speaking to you, with you at all times. So if you're not understanding those two things, that you are a blend of the seven, on top of your divine love is always with you in your physical body, you have barely any chance, not to say that you don't have any chance, there's always a possibility, but you have less of a chance when you are disembodied to realize those things. So it's important to realize that, because again, those things help you in your physical body to remember all that you are. And this plays a big part in when you are disembodied, because when you're disembodied, you have two choices. And the two choices are, you can transverse the universe and get out of this prison, this place, this space in which you all fell into, right? And I will not go into that because we have done many videos on what that means. If you are confused on what it is that I'm saying, go back to our Humble Beginning series and you will see what in God's green earth I'm talking about. Your green earth that I'm talking about. So you can transverse this space in place in your disembodied sense of self and get out, so to speak. But again, if without your divine love assisting you, even though she or he is always there with you, but if again you did not realize that they were with you in body, there's a less of a chance that you're going to realize that as you are flying around disembodied in space. So there's an opportunity for you to move through space and find your way out of here, but that can take eons and so much time, and there is a lot of distractions that can take you off course to getting out of this place that is the space. So that is one way, but a less viable way, because there are more challenges in that way. So you can transverse this space and place and hope to get out and return back to where it is that we call home. But also there is another way, and that is where most of us go, and that is the idea of the reincarnation idea. But before we even go into that, it is important to understand that life review that you all are fascinated and interested with. So this idea of a life review, when you are disembodied, for many of you, you are confused. You just went from a physical body to no body at all. And because a universal principality has come and taken your energy, it is even more confusing, because it can be a shock. A shock in the sense of, again, I wasn't a physical body a moment ago, and now I am disembodied. Now I can move through things, and I know that my body certainly never had that capability before. So there's a confusion there, and also an aloneness. Because again, you were in concert with 7 other universal principalities that you were, throughout your physical life, mistaken as your own. But now you are more within yourself than you've ever been, which is also very concerning and uncomfortable, depending on your physical life and what it is that you've done to try and avoid yourself here in this physical life. So there's a confusion there. So in that confusion, you are able to sense your energetic vibration. So what that means is there is, again, no such thing as time, so to speak, but what you are able to do is, in your confusion, you start moving faster than the speed of light and going to all the places that you have physically been within your physical body, because you think that your body is there. Because again, it is hard to accept that you just lost control of your body through the choice of overindulging in another universal principality's energy. So it is almost as if a denial happens, and therefore you start looking for your body, all the places in which you knew that it transversed in physicality. So in that, you are moving faster than the speed of light to all the places in which your body was. So from birth, inception, to death, you are moving faster than the speed of light, from one place to another place to another place to another place to another place, and search for that body. But again, you are not in the body. So therefore, you do not have the lens in which you are looking at when you go to that place. So what happens is, the disembodied, we will call it a spirit, but it is always a universal principality. The disembodied spirit will go to all the places in which the physical body was. But again, because you do not have the lens of the physical body, which was geared towards the personality lens, what you will go into is all the things that you animated with your energy in that place that you were looking at, right? So if something happened to you when you were in a physical body and you were looking at the chair, or you were sitting in the chair, you will go to that place, disembodied, to the chair, and you will be the chair for a second, right? You will be the chair, and in the chair, you will sense or relive the vibration in which you were there, right? So in reliving the vibration, you will then synthesize you will relive the image of the time in which you were in that place. But again, because you are not looking at it through your physical body's lens, because that is dead, that is gone, I have it now. Because you are not able to look through your physical body's lens, you are looking through the lens of the chair, or the lens of where you were in that place, but again, not through the body's lens. So because you are able to look through the object, through the chair, at what it was that was happening, you are able to see yourself in a different way, in a more objective way, in a way that you could never have seen yourself, because again, it was, the experience was through the abstract of the personality. And through the abstract of the personality, there's a million justifications and reasons as to why you're acting that way in that moment. But without that personality lens and without the physical body, you do not have those justifications and understandings as to why you were acting in that way. So you are in the chair, you are seeing yourself, you are seeing the energy that was taking place at that time, and you were able to see it objectively. And through that objective lens, if there was something that you were doing that you do not like and do not agree with, because you were able to see it objectively for the first time, there's a sense of shame and guilt and denial. Oh my God, how could I have talked to my grandmother that way when I was sitting in this chair? What the hell was wrong with me in that moment? And again, because you do not have the lens of the physical body, it does not make as much sense disembodied as it did when you were in body. So there is a sense of shame. And so there's two choices. That spirit can continue to sit and relive that experience to try and understand why in God's green earth, why in their green earth, they were acting in that way. But also, what it is that they can do is keep on moving. Okay, well, so I definitely don't like how I was acting when I was there in that body doing those things, but clearly my body isn't here. So let me go to the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. So as you continue to go to the next moment, again, you're not looking at things through your body. The body is gone. You're looking at things through the objectivity of the space that you were in, as opposed to the body lens, the place that you were in. So that is in essence the life review. You were moving at the speed of light, faster than the speed of light, to every single place that your body was in the world while you were in body. But again, because the body is gone, you could only look through the lens of the things that you were animating at that time around your body. And because you can only look through that lens, through the animation that was happening around your body, there's more of an objectivity. And in that objectivity, you as the spirit can take accountability or disaccountability in what it was that was happening and what it is that you did to either hurt others or help others. But again, there is no counsel, and there is no person shaming you and saying, shame on you, how could you talk to grandma that way when you were sitting on the couch? It is more, again, that you are moving at the speed of light, faster than the speed of light, trying to find your body, because again, you are still confused, trying to make sense of what it is that you're seeing, because again, for the first time, you're seeing yourself with objectivity as opposed to individuation, which was gearing much of the behaviors from the personality lens, which helped to create an illusion. So it is more of that process. You are moving through all of the images of your physical life, trying to find your body, but in trying to find your body, what it is that you're finding is how you have impacted all of those people around you, and what that really did to everybody, and how that affected everybody. Because not only are you moving to every space in which your physical body was, but also people take on the energy that you are throwing out, projecting. Because again, everybody likes to take energy that is not theirs. So therefore, as you are acting crazy, maybe in the physical realm, and you are seeing, because now you are disembodied and you are just reliving the image of what it is that had happened when you were in a physical body through the objectivity lens, which is the space around you that you were encompassing. What you see is the objectivity, because again, you don't have the personality filter, but also you are seeing the people that took on that energy that you were pushing out. And therefore, you immediately also go and visit those people because they took your energy. And again, you were just looking for your body. So you go into those people, you see how your personality, how your behavior was affecting them because they took on that energy. And you also see how, because of your behavior, you indirectly affected them because they took that energy, and how they projected your energy out into the universe. So you see a whole 360 view of how you, your physical body, and your personality lens affected everything, truly everything, because we are all connected, but affected everything without your knowing, because again, you were a small aspect of yourself, just looking through the small lens of what it is that you thought your story was, which then creates the personality lens, which then creates an illusion. So you get to see all of that in real time through objectivity, which is again the space in which your body was encompassing. And that can be very disturbing to the spirit, because again, they do not have the balance of the seven like they did in the physical body to understand why they were acting that way, and also to rebalance themselves in the disembodiment of what it is that's going on, which forces them to go completely out of balance depending on the universal principality that they are. And also, you are completely disconnected to your significant other, and your significant other is nothing but supportive and loving and holding you all the time, even in physical body. So you do not have the seven supporting you in that way. You just have your sense of self, which can be very disconcerting, because again, most of us spend our entire physical lives running from that sense of self. But also, you do not have the loving support of your significant other holding you and saying it is okay, it is fine. What it is that you did was through the personality lens and filter, and it is not good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It simply is. All you are stuck with is your lens as the universal principality that you are. And because for most of us, our behaviors have maybe potentially been disturbing, depending on our life story that we identify with, it knocks us into a complete out of balance with ourselves. So again, for most of us, not most of us, for some of us, it is too much to see the impact that we had as a universal principality living our life through the personality filter. So what happens then, therefore, is that you get stuck, just keep on going to the same places over and over again where your physical body was, and trying to relive and make sense of what it is that happened. So that is some spirits, not all spirits, but that happens. But then there are also some spirits that are like, okay, well, I'm done looking at this, looking at all the things that I did and didn't do and how that affected everybody and nobody at the same time. So now I'm ready for what's next. So what is next? What is next is very interesting. What is next is, again, there's nobody sitting here telling you that you must go into a body. Again, you have the option to transverse the universe alone, so to speak, and try and find your way out that way. But that is a lot harder than just going back into a body and trying to figure out and remember the truth of who you are. Because again, you have more support, or the illusion of more support, through the lens of the other to help you rebalance yourself, as opposed to you just depending on you moving through space. So many people, many bodies, many disembodied spirits choose to go the other route, which is the reincarnation, which is picking a body and reliving this physical density to try and remember themselves. But again, there's no spiritual counsel telling you, well, you know what, Karen is looking prime to be helping you in this life, so let's get Karen and her partner Jim, and they're gonna just make the greatest little place for you and your little baby self. Absolutely not. That is not how it works. How it works more so, and our understanding is, it is like you're a stalker. After you are done reliving your life review, which is inherently your own, you get to decide that, you get to live that as long as you want, and you alone are the one that is deriving information and a shame-based sense of self, or an encouraging sense of self. But once you are done with that, you choose, okay, well, I'm going to go the other route, which is I'm going to then come back into body. And now that I had this big life review, I could kind of see where it all went wrong. So I'm going to find the perfect people that are going to help me remember who it is that I am, the universal principality that I am. And they're going to assist me in that. And therefore, I need to find the perfect parents, the perfect family. So you start stalking. And maybe that is a lack of a better word, but in a positive way, you stalk everyone. You go around the entire world, in all the continents, to see who would be the perfect family that will help you remember the sense of self that you are most trying to understand when you are in physical body. So, you are stalking, you are looking to adopt a family that will help to aid you in your understanding of self. And until you find that perfect family with the perfect family dynamic that will exist, in which you think will help aid and assist you in your understanding of self, you will continue to transverse the universe until you find that perfect family. And there is a challenge in that, because the longer you stay disembodied, the longer you lose a sense of the illusion. And the illusion is a reality here. It is not real, but it is nevertheless how this place operates. So the more that you stay disembodied, the longer you have an objectivity. An objectivity is not good, not the best to have in disembodiment. What it is that you want to have is a neutrality, right? A neutrality means that I'm still here. A neutrality means here's a proton and here's a neutron, and then here I am in neutrality, right? But I'm still in sequence. I'm still in a line. I'm still right here. But when you have objectivity, you see the proton, the positive, you see the neutron, the negative, and then you see the neutrality, but then you're up here. You see the objectivity, which is the 360 view. But when you are in the 360 view, you are too far away to really see all that is going on. And you forget, again, that everything is run by an illusion, and therefore you forget that the behaviors that are happening and why people behave in the way that they do, because they are basing themselves in illusion, it all makes sense in objectivity, but you need to understand it from neutrality, because again, objectivity is wonderful, but that does not allow you to help you remember the truth of who it is that you are. You need to be in neutrality so that you can still be able to discern who and what family would be the best for you. Otherwise, when you are in objectivity, you because your gaze is so loving, and that is a lack of a better word, not to say your gaze isn't loving when you're neutral, but when you're neutral, you're more grounded in the earth and what it is that's going on. When you're objective, you are asalakalekum, whatever it is goes, and I will just kind of choose any family because I feel like, they will lead me to wherever it is that I need to go. And that is great, but that sometimes takes you longer and off the beaten course than if you were in neutrality and being able to discern, I do not like the fact that this universal principality is based in life and death. Because they are based in life and death, and I am the polar opposite of life and death in my universal principality, they're not really going to aid me in where it is that I need to go. Whereas if you were in objectivity, you're more like, it does not matter what universal principality I move into and choose as parents, because we will get to wherever it is that we go in divine timing. And that is great to say in objectivity, but when you are in physical density, that shit changes real quick. Because you realize, oh my goodness, it is so painful, it is so hard, it is so challenging to remember myself here, and to wade through the minutia of a universal principality that may or may not help me to remember the truth of who it is that I am. I don't have time for this crap, so to speak. But when you are in neutrality, which means that you are not waiting forever to get into a physical body, you are able to see, okay, we love that universal principality of death. That is great, but that is not going to help us to get where it is that we need to go. Wisdom will help us to where it is that we need to go. So we will re-embody ourselves from the parent that is wisdom and come through as the intellectualization that we are, because wisdom is the next step in our evolutionary process as intellectualization. So therefore, we are making an easier step to get to where it is that we are going without having to wade through craziness with life and death, right? Because life and death may get us to where we're going, but wisdom sure as shit will get us to where we're going. So neutrality is important. So that means being disembodied as short of a time as you can is most important in that moment. So for those who are objective, sometimes they take longer in their rediscovery of themselves than those who are in neutrality. But regardless, whether you're in objectivity or neutrality, you are looking to adopt a family that is going to lead you to your sense of self and your awareness of self. So therefore, when you find that perfect family, you wait around with them. You are just hanging around, waiting for Karen to get pregnant, waiting for the perfect opportunity for Jim to impregnate Karen, and that is when you make your move and go into the body. And you have to kind of sit. Once you choose your family, your adopted family that you're going to move into in body, you need to be with them at all times, because it is more of the idea of, I stake claim to this family. You all better not be trying to take me away from this family because I get the next serve. The next serve is, as soon as Karen becomes pregnant, I'm the first one that gets to go in. And then there's the idea that sometimes you go to spiritual mediums and they will say, you will give birth to 10 children. Why? There's 10 children waiting in queue. And it is not the idea that you will give birth to 10 children. It is the idea that there are 10 universal principalities, spirits, that have identified that they want to come through Karen. And it's not to say that a Karen will give birth to all 10, but it is the idea that Karen will give birth to at least one, and the first one is waiting in queue, ready to go. So you must stand by your family, otherwise you lose your queue or sequence in being born. Because if you step away from your family, best believe there are a lot of disembodied souls out there that are ready and willing and excited to move into physicality to try and remember the truth of who it is that they are. So, therefore, it is the idea that when you step away from your from the family that you chose for whatever crazy reason that could be, you lose your place in line in the birth order. So you better hope that Karen is having more than just one kid, because you might have lost your chance and you will have to start all over again and find your forever family. But again, that does not mean that a universal counsel is helping you to do that. That does not mean that anybody is helping you to do that other than you. You are always the one that is making the choice. It is not anybody else. It is not God. It is not the universal council. It is not anything other than your universal principality looking, searching, needing to remember the truth of who it is that they are, which is most easy to do when you're in a physical body. So if you were in a physical body, then therefore, and you remember all of that you are within the physical body, then that means that you are able to dispel the illusion and make a choice within the physical body, which is to take this physical body with you and transcend this crazy place, or something different, whatever that is. But again, you have a choice, as opposed to having to die and then come back, or die and then transverse the universe alone. So that is our understanding of death. Again, that is our understanding, the universal principality that we are of intuition of what death is. Now, depending on the universal principality that you are, your understanding of that may be completely different. We are not sitting and saying that everybody else is wrong if they do not share our understanding of what death looks like. However, again, we will say it again, this is our understanding of what it looks like. So, in our understanding, this is true for us, but that does not make us right and anybody else who has a different understanding what that is wrong. So we just want to make sure that all understand, because some people get a little funky when somebody or a universal principality feels challenged in what it is that another universal principality identifies as the truth. But it is nevertheless important for us to share, because intuition has rarely made much of an appearance to share what it is that we see and understand as the inner workings of how this place works, how space works, how where we come from works, and in the very least, how life and death works. So we will leave you with that. That is more than enough for anyone to take in. We always thank you for making time and space for us, and we wish you love and light on your journey. May you all be well and transverse this universe with grace.